You are listening to the place where good ideas go to die. This is the Ron Van Dam Show on New England Broadcasting.
The following program is brought to you in living color.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night. It's the Ron Van Dam Show.
Thank you.
Hold on tight, things can get a bit weird, if you like that sort of thing.
Thank you. Did I properly thank you? Thank you. Thanks for coming. Thanks for dropping by. Nice of you, huh? Nice. Hey, you're looking good today. What'd you do? Shower? No? Oh, okay. Welcome to the program. Oh, thank you for the standing ovation. Please sit down. I'll take it from here. Welcome to the show. It is Friday, December 2nd. I don't know what year it is, but I know what day it is. Friday, December 2nd. This is the Friday weekend edition of the program. We do this show every single weekday, but not on weekends, so don't annoy me. I'm not annoyed. I'm only kidding. All right, that's enough theme music. We get the thing. We understand. You got theme music. You play it. Nice job. Okay. Welcome to the show. Let's start off by admitting something. I live in the Boston area. Got to live somewhere, right? Huh? That's where I live. And things have been shaken up the past few days and going into the weekend because the Prince and Princess of Goodness have landed in the Boston area. Prince William and Kate Middleton have joined the fray in the Boston area, causing all kinds of traffic delays and all that kind of stuff. But so we have British royalty visiting the very place where we got the British out of here. So, I mean, it's just I guess the world all comes together. When you're fighting the British to gain freedom or to grain feed them. Yeah, we fought the British. Remember that? Yeah, it was a couple of days ago. We fought the British so that we could be free of their rule, and now they're visiting us. I don't know why. Actually, Prince William and Kate Middleton, Princess Middleton, I don't know what the hell. They are here because there is a climate change symposium at the Kennedy Center. No, not the Kennedy Center. That's in Washington. At the Kennedy Library. Center and library, two different places. They were, the Prince and Princess, the Middletons and the Williams were actually inspired by President Kennedy's moonshot situation, and they are comparing that to saving the planet, and that's a good thing. If more people would think of saving the planet, that'd be nice. It would be nice. So they're here for that, and Boston is one of the leaders in this type of technology and research. So they're visiting Harvard, which I have not done. I think I saw it from a bus once. And they're going to an award ceremony at the MGM Music Hall, which is a new venue near Fenway Park. President Biden is going to be joining them this weekend as well, and many other people and celebrities and things like that, all to try to get us to save this freaking planet that we have no choice but to save. They visited Boston Harbor, where there is some technological stuff going on to stop the rising waters. So they are here. And people in this area and across the country get excited every time royalty visits. Ooh. I don't get excited. I don't quite understand it because they're not dressed in robes. They're just dressed in regular Prince William is wearing like a suit and a shirt. I mean, like, what? What? That's not a prince. Aren't you supposed to have the felt velvet cap with the feather going through it and the glitzy velvet robe and with the big scepter? What the hell? What's with the suit jacket? And Kate Middleton looks like she's shopping at Saks Fifth Avenue, or Lord and Taylor or something. This is not the way they're supposed to dress. Aren't they supposed to be like have like thrones shipped to them? So whenever they sit down, they're in a throne. What's going on? See, that's the royalty thing. This is not. They just look like regular people. And they met with crowds in the Boston area, and they were just, oh my God, it's the prince and princess that don't even do anything yet. Prince William is heir to the throne. Right now, the throne is only heir to him. But someday he will occupy that throne, and it's good to see a guy who's into conservation and saving the planet. And Kate Middleton, I don't know her very well. We didn't go to school together. I have no idea. But she seems like a nice person. I don't know. I mean, yeah, if she was on the subway and it was crowded, I would give her my seat. But other than that, not really. Anyway, hi. I'm not thrilled with the royalty thing. I'm really not. I mean, it's nice. It's fun. It's a good time. To me, it's like going to Disney World and going to the castle there in the middle. That's really, it's a fantasy thing. They don't do anything. See, a lot of people are getting annoyed because I'm not putting down royalty. Well, yeah, I guess I am. I don't understand. I don't know why we kiss people's feet for no reason whatsoever, or their rings. I can't reach the feet anymore. I can't bend down that much. I can't kneel before them for two reasons. One is my back hurts and my name's not Neil. But good for them. Prince and Princess someday will be king and queen, I suppose, if they stay together. There's a lot of divorces going on there. And then you've got Prince Harry and Meghan, who I believe live in Los Angeles or something like that. I don't even know where they live, but they're in the country all the time. And the closest to royalty they are anymore is like maybe they'll go to Burger King every once in a while. That's about it. I'm not into the stuff there. I did go to England a couple of times, and I wasn't, I saw the changing of the guard at Buckingham Palace, and then I, went to a restaurant and had a sandwich. I don't know. It just doesn't excite me. I'm not into that stuff. I'm not. See, the Pope is different. You see, the Pope, as much as he represents one particular religion, he's really open to all of them. So he's more like a universal Pope. They should change it to universal Pope. I mean, they don't have a universal rabbi or anything. It would be very different if they did. But the Pope, I get, because the Pope is dresses in the robes. You don't see the Pope, walking down the street in Italy wearing a suit jacket and a shirt. No, you don't. You couldn't. It's not allowed. But in the Bible, you can't do that. No Pope can do that. I don't know. It's just Pope's a whole different thing. You got to wear the costume. I'm sorry, the fabrics, the threads. What do they call that? The robe and the hat. So I don't know much about it. I'm not making fun of it. I just really don't know much about it. But I do respect that. I mean, that was because he looks the part. You see. I know. William and Kate. They look like they're supposed to look like us, but they're not us. They have royal blood. You realize they can't get blood transfusions from anybody but other people who have blue blood? They can't do that. They are, Ancestry.com would really have a field day with these people. They could trace their ancestry back to Moses, probably. Wouldn't that be funny, huh? Very, very strong family traits. Yeah. I don't know, man. I don't know what I'm talking about. Like the guy said at the beginning of the show, I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. I do have an interesting guest coming up a little bit later in the program. And that should be fun for everybody, including yourself. I think I've talked about this once on the show before, and it's all about me. But maybe you can relate. The one thing that I've always wanted to do all my life, but I never did professionally, was being in a rock band. Oh, I thought that would have been great, especially when I was younger, like a young adult before I was hooked up. To be in a rock band and have all these groupies and fans like just wanting to touch you in many ways and in many places. And, you know, you play a gig and then you go up to the hotel room and you put on a British accent and you act cool and you wear sunglasses, although even if it's like midnight. And then the girls come up, you know, if it's a boy rock band, the girls come up, you know, and they just want to hang out with you and do more with you. I thought, what a wonderful life that would be for a while, playing music, writing original songs, and playing on a stage and having the crowds just go wild and applaud and jump up and down and bat around big beach balls and people diving into the crowd, risking their lives. You know, it would have been great, you know, and all the drugs and all that. Yeah, that would have been great too, right? Yeah. Why is it that rock musicians live to be 90 and the rest of us fall away well before, when those are the people on the hard drugs? How does that happen? Rock musicians look like they've been through like the through a torture chamber, and yet they're still alive. I don't understand that. I don't get that. I don't understand that. But I did want to be a rock musician. Then I started reading an article about a month ago that most rock musicians have hearing loss. Many of them already have complete hearing loss out of one ear, and the other one is starting to go. Yeah, because the music is so freaking loud. And then I also read that the fans, the concert goers who go to these concerts, if they go on a frequent basis, they're starting to lose their hearing as well. I'm not an audiologist or an ear doctor, whatever, but I do warn you that this is a problem. And so now I have many reasons why I shouldn't have been a rock musician, and why I couldn't have been a rock musician, and why it would have been destructive to be a rock musician. So now I feel good. But that was on my bucket list. I have a very short bucket list. It's a very small pail. It's just frustrating to set goals for yourself that you really can't do. It just doesn't work that way. I don't like the bucket list thing. Some people go extreme with the bucket list, where they want to jump out of a plane. Okay, that's like stupid. They want to bungee jump, which means that you jump off a bridge with an elastic rope tied to your ass, and you see death, but just about a foot away from the ground, you bounce back up and you don't ever hit the ground. How exciting can that be? You've got to have an extra pair of pants in the car because you're going to wet them for sure. Some people's bucket lists are like really ridiculously extreme. And those people, I just question their sanity, but they're adventurists, so whatever, as long as it doesn't hurt me. I have a very short bucket list. My bucket list is go to Home Depot and buy a bucket in case your roof leaks. That's it. That's my bucket list, my friends. I did achieve a few things on my bucket list when I was a child. We didn't call it a bucket list when I was a child. We called it a what do you want to be when you grow up thing. Usually your grandparents, if you had grandparents, would say to you, what do you want to be when you grow up? And then they'd say your name at the end of the sentence. And the response was always, I don't know. I don't know what I want to be. What do you want to go to school for? I don't know. I don't want to go to school. So what are you talking about? I don't want. What do you mean? For what? You're right. Now, what do you want to be when you grow up? And most boys would say, I want to be a fireman or a policeman or a doctor or just something like that. I wanted to be a performer. I wanted to be a writer. I wanted to have some type of creative position. And I guess I achieved that in my life, but that was the bucket stuff. I did an interview a couple of days ago. I think we aired it yesterday. I'm not sure. I can't remember. It was yesterday, I know, but I can't remember. This guy, he was brought up in an orphanage. Yeah, it was yesterday. He was brought up in an orphanage, and he was told that his parents were deceased, although they weren't. That's just the way that they dumped him off. And then he became an executive and a great achiever, and he's had a wonderful life, and he's in his 80s, and that's wonderful. There was no need for a bucket list. I mean, that was survival for him. But because he went through tough times, he became a tougher, more resilient person. And then I started to recognize that people who had difficult childhoods often are very, very strong people because they've learned to take care of themselves. And people who are coddled by their parents, we call them helicopter parents because they are watching you from their private helicopter all the time. They're always buzzing around you. They're always taking care of you, protecting you, sheltering you, kissing you, loving you, telling you you're the best, you can do anything, etc., 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 etc. You are the center of the universe, not only to yourself, but to everybody else. These are the people, when they grow up, they get fucked up. They just can't adjust to the fact where people don't love them as much as they did when they were a child. Like what happened here. I thought I was extremely lovable and could do anything I wanted. Now I'm figuring out, well, that's just not the case. And they're ill-equipped to handle these life pressures and frustrations. It's got to be somewhere in between. You got to teach your kid to be independent, but at the same time, you've got to give them the love and foundation that they need as a child. It's somewhere in between. It's like politics. If you go too extreme on both ends, nothing's going to happen. Someone's going to be hurt. Those that kind of do things in the middle, know how to negotiate, they end up pretty good, or at least have a happy life. It's true. So bucket list? No. Don't disappoint yourself. Keep your goals low. And then when you achieve one, go for the next one a little bit higher. That kind of thing. It's like the limbo stick. Are you familiar? Some generations don't understand. Generation X, Generation P, Generation W. There was a limbo thing. They would play calypso music at parties and weddings and things. It was very embarrassing. And they would have a limbo stick, and you had to dance under the limbo stick without falling down on your ass. And you had to dance under it, but you couldn't use your hands. And the pole would get lower and lower and lower and lower. The bar would go lower and lower and lower. And the winner would be usually someone who was double jointed or was a ballet dancer or was extremely limber. That was always the winner. This is the opposite. You set your goals over here, and then you reach it, and then you raise the bar a little bit more, and then you raise the bar a little bit more, and then you raise the bar a little bit more. opposite Trump, who lowers the bar a little bit more every time. But that's another story and another conversation. My guest joins us momentarily, but before we do encroach upon that conversation, I have a short commercial word for you. And then we'll be right back.
Hey, this is Bobby Marone, former heavyweight contender. But I hung up my boxing gloves to open the area's favorite new restaurant.
It's Headshots, Bobby.
Headshots. Hey, this month we're starting something new at Headshots. It's our all-you-can-eat, nothing but meatball brunch. That's right. You can come to Headshots and load up on all your favorite sausage.
Meatball.
Right, meatballs. It doesn't matter what kind of chicken you like.
Meatball.
What kind of meatball you like. We got it at the all-you-can-eat, nothing but typewriters.
Meatballs. Meatballs.
Nothing but meatball buffet. You heard me right. No pasta, no cacciatore, no lasagna, just delicious lasagna.
And meatballs.
Meatballs, however you like them. Traditional, hot and spicy, stuffed with cheese, covered in marinara. My mouth is watering just thinking about eating all these cheerleaders.
Holy meatballs. Meatballs.
Eating all these meatballs myself. So what are you waiting for? Get on down to Headshots and see if you can eat more General Gao's chicken than me, Bobby Marone. That last one was supposed to be meatballs too, huh? Yeah.
Corey Staley joins us now. He's an economist for Indeed Hiring Lab. And we're talking about the 2023 Workplace and Hiring Trends Report, which has come out. Corey, tell me about the results.
Yeah, so overall what this report, just to give a little bit of a background, what this report is this is Indeed, which is the number one job site in the world,
Indeed.
and Glassdoor, which is kind of the worldwide leader in kind of workplace insights, coming together and really joining forces for our data. So as far as the results of the report are concerned, we basically came up with, after we combined that data, we came up with 5 different trends for what we see going into 2023 and beyond. And those 5 trends are the tightness in the labor market that we've seen in the last couple of years is something that we expect to continue. And employers are going to continue to face challenges in hiring. We also saw from our data that remote work, even though it's something that was kind of necessary during the pandemic, is something that's continued, and we expect that to stay in the coming years and to remain an option for workers. And then the last 3 kind of trends that we found, and the last 3 kind of results, were that benefits are something that are really, really valuable to employees and something that employers need to be keeping front of mind when they think about attracting workers in this tighter labor market and kind of how to set themselves apart. And as part of that, to think about also how they can promote happiness and well-being in the workplace and offer also kind of different inclusion and diversity programs as well to help employees feel like they belong in the workplace.
Okay.
So that's kind of just a high-level overview of some of the things we've found.
So the unemployment rate is low, considering what's going on economically, which is kind of odd, but good news in that sense. Is it still the atmosphere where if you want a job, you can get a job, and that employers are still having trouble trying to find people? Is that still a deal?
Yeah, so I mean, that's a great point. You talk about, there's this broad kind of discussion going on about macroeconomic challenges, and yet what we see in the labor market is that the labor market is not one that's indicative of a recession.
Yeah.
We see that job postings on Indeed are still almost 50% above where they were before the pandemic. And so, yeah, very much so that job seekers who are out looking for jobs still have a plethora of options when it comes to the jobs that they're applying for. And again, like you said, kind of anybody who wants a job can find a job at this moment.
Yeah. but I guess not enough people are looking, are trying to find a job, or trying to find a job that they're more like than what they had before. Is there still a lot of shifting around going on?
Yeah, so there is still a lot of shifting around going on. When we look at a lot of kind of the high level data as far as people quitting and switching jobs, we see that those numbers still remain at a pretty high level. People are still switching a lot between jobs. And I think it's also very telling when we look at one of the numbers that the government publishes, we see that there are almost twice as many jobs available as there are people unemployed and looking for jobs. And so I think that's very telling when you see, such a big, number there, and that they're basically, if all the unemployed people took jobs, there's still jobs left over. So there is still plenty of opportunity there for job seekers.
That's good news for ex-Twitter employees, I guess. All right. So this is it's interesting news, which is very good. Now we're out of the pandemic. People are going to concerts and venues and offices and restaurants without masks now. So what is it? Why are we not returning to the offices, the physical offices? Are employers saving a lot of money on not leasing office space? I mean, what's going on there?
Yeah, I mean, that's a great question. I think as far as some of the employer motivation, that's not necessarily something I can get much into. But what I do know is kind of from some of the data that we have seen, we've seen that really some of the demand for remote work is really coming from the employees themselves.
Really?
So in some of the recent data we've looked at, we saw, particularly for women, we saw that the second reason that women cited as their motivation behind looking for a job was that they wanted a remote job.
Yeah.
So the number one reason they were looking for a new job was that they wanted higher pay, kind of unsurprisingly. But the number two reason was that they were looking for remote work. So I think you really have this environment where employees have the upper hand because employers are struggling to find people. And what a lot of employees really want, at least a decent portion of those employees want, is they want remote work. And so I think part of that really is coming from employees wanting those options to work remotely. And again, having that bargaining power to ask for that. So I think that is something that, has very much made it so that remote work has continued and has kept people from all going back to the office.
Well, I mean, yeah, for many people, that's good. That's wonderful, all that stuff. Okay. I don't know what to make of this in the long run. Corey, what's your professional opinion here? What's going on? Things seem good, and then they seem not good. I don't. If you're looking for a job, you're good. If you're looking to hire, you're not good. Is that what it is?
Well, I think it's. Definitely on the job seeker side, it's definitely a good time to be a job seeker. And I think on the employer side, I think things are still, very good. I mean, obviously there are, many different fears and things that employers have to take into account right now.
Right.
And with that. But I do think that the good news here is that this report really outlines and really pulls a lot of information from job seekers that employers can then use going forward. So again, if it's possible to offer remote work, that's something that, can really benefit employers. I mean, really let's be honest, not every job can be done remotely. A lot of estimates say only about a third of jobs can be done remotely. We can't necessarily flip burgers,
exactly.
from home.
Or,
right. Yeah, so I mean, if that's an option, I think that's something that's great.
Very interesting.
But then also just thinking about how, employers what type of benefits you can offer to attract employees, and because really sometimes it's the small things that can make a big impact. I mean, I think that the kind of diversity and inclusion piece that we found in these trends, which is thinking about how we can have more equal representation of genders and races in leadership, is something that seems like a small thing, but really makes a big difference to job seekers and to employees.
Yeah. Well, if the job seekers are in the driver's seat, then they're going to want to make the world a better place as far as their job is concerned, certainly, in their job atmosphere. Would you be able to make the statement, Corey, that anybody who's seeking a job, there's a job for you?
I think overall, I would say that, yeah, like the environment that we are in, is one where there are plenty of opportunities.
Mm-hmm.
I would just add the caveat that there are always, there can be challenges with mismatch.
Right.
If you go to hiringlab.org, we've actually done a lot of research on some of the mismatch that exists, right?
Mm-hmm.
Not everybody, matches perfectly with the jobs. And so you see that sometimes when we have unemployment like this, that there might be, not everybody is trained to be a data scientist.
Sure.
Or not everybody, it matches perfectly.
Sure.
So, but I do think that we have seen still a broad-based, across really all occupations,
Good.
that we have far more jobs in every occupation now than we had before the pandemic.
Very good. Well, yeah, that's for sure. Well, Indeed is certainly the leader, and that's where to go. Where can we go if we need some extra help to help us get through this situation here? Or where do we go?
Yeah, I would definitely recommend that people go to hiringlab.org, and that's where we publish a lot of this research that can really provide a lot of insight into these trends for both job seekers and employers.
Yeah. Well, that's where they match up. It's for both of them. And then you meet in the middle, and you got yourself a good deal going. Corey Steele.
Exactly.
Corey, it's been a pleasure speaking to you, and thanks for the information today. Well, that'll do it for me today. I'll be back again on Monday with a brand new program. Until then, set your goals, go for them. I wish you peace.